You talk about the taxi fleet, and I know now that new taxis which are licensed have to be zero emission capable.
From last year?
Yeah, from last year, from the beginning of 2018. But that's not the case with private hire vehicles, and that's not the case with these new services which are going to be on-demand bus services. They are still being allowed to have new Euro 6 diesels. Why is there an inconsistency between what you're doing for taxis and what you're doing with the private hire vehicle fleet?
So the agreement to move to zero-emission capable taxis was agreed under the previous administration. We believe that we need to carry that on because taxis, especially the black taxis, are very heavily polluting, particularly the Euro 5s. So
I was thought Euro 6s. You're not even allowing Euro 6s to continue.
So there are. I'll get Elliot to come in and talk a little bit about the difference between Euro 5 and Euro 6. But the point I want to make is that the fleet is very polluting, so we need to clean up that fleet. It wasn't being cleaned up as fast as the commitment had been made. So we have said that we will be consulting on reducing the age limits that taxis have from 15 to 12 years, and we have restructured the delicensing fund, which we have seen very many numbers of taxi drivers applying for grants to scrap or delicense their vehicles. So that is now having an effect. And the target that we have to meet has been adopted by government. So it is in the government's national air quality plan as well as in the mayor's air quality plan to reduce those emissions. So we have to be tackling that source of emissions.
I do see what you're saying. I hear your answer, but you didn't answer me about the Euro 6s. No new Euro 6 taxis can be licensed, but you're continuing to allow diesel Euro 6 private hire vehicles to be licensed. I mean, this is something the Mayor couldn't give an answer about earlier in the week, and if you've all done your homework, you'd have an answer to that. Why is there a discrepancy there? Why are you continuing to allow private hire vehicles to have Euro 6 diesels but not taxi vehicals?
The Mayor doesn't have the power to stop them, David. It's not through our choice.
Well, I was asking I think we're asking the panel here.
You know the answer.
I'm not sure if I'm going to get an answer, and I have other people. I think from anybody.
The key thing to remember is that the way that the approach that's been adopted to taxis reflects the way that they're a licensed fleet, and that they're licensed by the Mayor. So there's been
were private hire vehicles.
There's been different opportunities given the differences between the PHV and the taxi trades and taxi fleets to actually do something very exciting with the taxi trade and the taxi fleet, which is to actually encourage the uptake of zero-emission capable taxis. For PHVs, which are a different fleet, which operate in a different way across London, you get a greater use potentially out in suburban London and outer London. There is still that we're building towards that zero-emission capable requirements, but we, in designing the policy, there was a decision to reflect the different circumstances of the different trades.
So that was the Mayor's decision. You people in
this was, as Shirley explained, it was the previous administration.
It was the previous.
To move to zero-emission capable taxis.
But then, we've got the current Mayor has been the Mayor for 3 years, so he hasn't changed the policy.
Because it's the ambition, as we talked about before, to move to a zero-carbon city. So,
but you're not doing that for private hire vehicles.
We are, because there is a requirement by 2023 that new private hire vehicles will have to be zero-emission. And then 2037, I think.
2033 for both fleets.
Yeah,
so if you look again, because obviously you do have different age limits in place for both the private hire vehicles and for taxis, because that reflects the different economics and different circumstances of the trade. But in terms of the end point, as set out in the strategies, by 2033, both fleets are expected to be fully zero-emission capable.
Okay, so finally we're getting to some sort of rationale for that. I don't, I think for the next 5 years it's going to hurt taxi drivers, it's going to introduce unfair competition. But we do have a rationale for that, so thank you for your answer there. Now, you did mention also in your opening statement rapid charging points, and one of the things you said the Mayor's done is he's introduced some rapid charging points for these zero-emission taxis. Now, I think you said there were 750, is that right?
No,
150 rapid chargers.
Over 160 rapid chargers
160.
since the mayor was implemented.
Okay, fine. And that's not enough for the zero emission capable taxis that there are, and they're rapidly increasing in number. So what is the mayor going to do to make sure that there are enough so that people who do take up one of these ZEC taxis are not queuing and can actually charge their taxis?
There are over 60, I think 64 taxi dedicated rapid chargers in London. There are about 1,000 taxis, ZEC taxis in London. So there is more than sufficient capacity to be dealing with the current fleet.
He wants 9,000 is his plan. He says he wants 9,000 by 2020, which is only a few months away. So that's not going to be enough at that point.
That was the previous mayor's target. The target we're working to was a 45% emissions reduction for the taxi fleet. Now 65% reduction, which the government and we are working to. And so it